And Republic TV is now getting you more breaking details coming in from Mumbai, a shocking story that is now being reported, and pictures that were captured on CCTV that shows you a Congress leader who barged into a hospital and went on to misbehave with doctors there. These pictures on your screens, and Republic TV has also accessed the complaint that has been filed by Global Hospital and Research Center managing the BSES Municipal General Hospital. Pictures that clearly show how the Congress leader rummaged through the hospital and threatened doctors. And it's been 7 days and no police FIR has been lodged yet. Niranjan is joining us on the broadcast with more details. Niranjan, firstly, what had happened? What does the complaint copy tell us? Also, why has no FIR been filed yet?
Now, let me tell you about the story in great detail. Now, on the 24th and 25th is when this reported incident took place in Mumbai, at a hospital in Mumbai, which was also partly sealed for some time after some tested positive. Now, I have the copy of the complaint with me. Suesha. And let me read out what happened while I talk over these visuals. Let me talk over these visuals and let me tell you what the hospital has said in its complaint. Now, the charge is that this Congress leader whose name is Meher Haider unauthorizedly, unlawfully, illegally entered the hospital without information or appointment at 12 o'clock on the 24th. She barged into the hospital room, the premises of the hospital, patients' wards, thereby disrupting hospital's protocols, rules and decorum, and endangered the lives of patients. We have several visuals, we'll try and run all of them. The municipal corporator and the Congress leader Meher Haider, you can see her here with a bunch of people trying to enter wards. This is unprecedented. She was screaming on top of her voice throughout the time of almost 45 minutes that she spent at the hospital. And I have spoken to doctors myself, Suesha, and they're very, they're doing their job. And in this one, in this one particular visual that we're playing, I'll stay with these visuals. This is the female ward in the nursing room. Female ward, this is all of it is on CCTV. And this, look at her again. She barges into the hospital, barges in through the security gate, goes into the hospital, takes the lift. In every floor she makes a stop. And she's seen trying to enter ICU. She tries to enter the female ward. She tries to enter the male ward. And then she's threatening doctors. And doctors, some of the leading doctors in Mumbai are all witness to this. Let me read out what the complaint says. The complaint says that the Honorable Municipal Corporator, Mrs. Meher Haider, was screaming on top of her voice throughout the time of almost 45 minutes that she spent at the hospital. That's only on one day. On one day, she spent 45 minutes. On another day, she spent much more time. We'll tell you all about it. She came up to the 7th floor, illegally entered the ICCU, screaming in front of patients. Suesha screaming in front of patients, along with her accomplices, risking their health and life. After that, she went down to each floor, barged inside the ward, disturbing ailing patients and their relatives, endangering their lives. She caused a lot of speculation and stress amongst the admitted patients and their relatives. Meher Haider, this Congress leader, was screaming very arrogantly and rudely, putting all sorts of false, frivolous accusations and allegations against the hospital trustee, doctors, and she did not, believe it or not, she did not even spare the MCGM officers. The Mumbai Corporation, the Greater Mumbai Corporation, she did not even spare their officers. This Congress leader completely disturbed the norms, protocols of emergency. For no reason, this Congress leader falsely accused the hospital administration for not admitting general patients and not conducting general OPD. She threatened that she would get the hospital converted into COVID care quarantine facility for COVID-19 cases. And let me tell you what happened after that. After that, there was another incident when she, again the next day, the very next day, the same Congress leader and 4 other persons, again unauthorizedly, unlawfully and illegally barged into the hospital. They all go to the 1st floor and start checking the wards. This time they start checking the wards, Suesha. We'll play those visuals of the different parts of the hospital. There are at least 7 visuals that we have of the different parts of the hospital that she barged into. This is the lobby. She barged into different parts of the hospital. We'll show you that. She barges into different parts of the hospital, and then she and her accomplices went to all of the floors. They start taking videos. Imagine in a hospital, they start taking videos without any permission in the private sections of the hospital. Again and again blaming why the hospital was not admitting general patients and only catering to paying class patients. She further alleged that the patients who were admitted in the hospital, believe it or not, she alleges that those patients who are admitted in the hospital are dummy or bogus patients. She said the hospital is empty and then she wanted to convert the hospital into COVID care quarantine center. She called one of the doctors drunk. Doctors who are not sleeping, who are not going home, who are not seeing their families for weeks on end. She called them drunk. Let me go close to Ujjwal Nikam, one of the senior most lawyers in Mumbai, who was the public prosecutor in the 2611 case. Mr. Ujjwal Nikam, I don't know whether you're getting these visuals. I hope you're in front of a TV set, but let me explain these visuals, Mr. Nikam. Good morning to you. But these are pictures, CCTV footage of the BSCS Municipal General Hospital in Mumbai, where I see a Congress leader, her name is Meher Haidar, and her accomplices barging into the hospital, harassing doctors, abusing doctors, calling doctors names, shooting videos, entering the ICU, putting life of patients at risk. And let me tell you the best part about this. The reason why we are completely shocked this morning, Mr. Nikam, complaint was filed on the 26th. Today is the 1st. Incident was on the 24th. 7 days on, the police said we can't take the physical complaint online, and there is no FIR filed. Mr. Ujjwal Nikam, I'll let you respond to this.
Let me first tell you that this is a very serious matter, and the visuals which you have shown that clearly shows that the attack on this COVID hospital will not be taken into very lightly. Now, the person who is instigating, the person who had abated for this assault on the hospital, I think the police machinery should immediately look into. Because the government has now made radical changes in the law, and the government has taken a note of it, that any assault on this hospital or doctor or the medical staff, that imprisonment will be up to 7 years and more also. And therefore, I think the police will require to investigate. Now, if police refuse to do that, then I think any person, any civilian can move to in the High Court, and the police will be compelled to take the action. And firstly, I would like to tell you that these are the cognizable offense, and it is the duty of the police to act strictly and in accordance with the law. And no one should be spared.
Yeah. No, sir, I was going to ask you, in this case, the complaint was filed by the police. I have the full physical complaint copy in my hand. And I personally spoke to the doctors, Mr. Nikam. Let me tell you, I personally spoke to the doctors. They're horrified. They're not able to do their jobs. This happened twice on back-to-back consecutive days when the Congress leader walks in, barges into the hospital, abuses doctors, calls doctors drunk, goes into the ICU, calls the patients dummy and bogus, and calls the doctors drunk. And they're harassed and they don't know what to do about it if the complaint is filed. Now, as a lawyer, you tell me, Mr. Nikam, if the complaint is filed and the FIR is not registered, we have an ordinance in place now. Legally, what should have been done and what needs to be done, Mr. Nikam?
See, if complaint is already been filed, the police will require to take the cognizance of the complaint because it is pertaining to the cognizable offense. And I anticipate the police has to act accordingly very swiftly. And they lost the FIR also.
Okay. Let's see where the story goes, Mr. Nikam. Appreciate you speaking to Republic TV this